Yo, what is up, guys? It's No Name. Here with a day 3 recap for our Zero to Hero. Um, Kind of a sussy update, to be honest. Let me just go ahead. I'll start with just showing you the numbers so we can talk about that first. As you can see, we're only at 8.3 div, which is much lower than I wanted to be at today, after today. But I think that's fine. I had a moment on stream where I just kind of realized that I need to really improve the character if I'm gonna push for, the character was too bare bones to really try to push the strategy, and I need to spend some more. I need to spend like another day on gearing, make some more currency on the side of that, but I need to focus on more gearing, right? Um, just overall too squishy, not enough damage. So that's just a lesson for me because admittedly, I'm doing Zero to Hero on a setup that I'm not like super familiar with anymore. I haven't played a bleed character since the removal of the mod on Elder Weapons. Um, and it shows there's some things that I just wasn't aware of going into this. Some pretty bad mistakes, like in terms of gearing, or just things that I should be focusing on differently. Figuring out what type of defensive layers I actually want on the character and things of that nature. Um, and so all in all, this character is like it's not a bad character. It's just not exactly up to my standard in terms of what I would actually want for this type of strategy. And I'm currently figuring out how to best mitigate that. One of the big things I'm running into, the biggest one from like it's really apparent in all of my VODs, is that like, I feel like the clear is just not strong enough yet. It's one of those things where it's like when I shoot through a pack and it pops, it's gorgeous, but then there are times where like a moderately tankier pack exists, blue packs can exist, it's kind of a problem, or beyond beyond like normal mobs are a problem for the character. Or crucible mobs can't be really interacted with, which is kind of frustrating because a large part of what I need is to be able to switch to I need this so I can get a little bit more consistent and better coverage. But can't really switch to this until I can actually do bleed maps without or crucibles without getting absolutely folded. That's both on my damage side and on my ability to survive them. Surviving them is a lot more difficult, to be honest. Especially as a character who's gonna like be relying a good bit on PDR, given that they have innate, so a lot of them have innate overwhelm, and just a lot of other very strong effects. But in terms of the money goes, the money strat is working. It's one of those things where I can realize that the strategy is kind of just working in terms of how I want to make my money. Um, and I say that in that I only really did the strategy for maybe like 2 hours last night, and I gained like 4, 5, 6 div. So the idea is working. I just spend the day on finishing up my character, getting my character stronger, spending some more time finishing up the atlas. Like I went to go buy sextants yesterday, and I realized I only had 2 stuns still. So I need to pay for the carries for those fights so that I can get the other 2 stuns. That's a large part of this. Get my crimson up to 16 as well as just having a perma 16 sustain. Generally it just looks better for my profit. But okay, as far as what I'm doing for money, though, so you can kind of see what I'm working with here. It's Wandering Path Tree. I'm almost finished up filling in the part that makes Wandering Path way too rippy. And that's fine. The big thing is actually, so it's Harvest with like the good nodes. Honestly, these chance nodes, I'll be keeping the chance nodes for now because I'm not using the sextants yet. I don't have the income to justify using the sextants for forcing Harvest on. What I am forcing on now is Heist. Like the income that I showed actually does not involve me. I have not sold any of the contracts I've gotten from like trying the strategy out yet. So there's a lot of money to be made, and actually going through and selling those contracts still. And that's something I'm gonna do probably tomorrow morning or this morning. Like by the time I'm live, after you live like later tonight, this should be I should have sorted out sold a good chunk of those contracts. Um, and also chance to find blueprints. But the bigger thing is that when you force on, so
I can't do this just yet.
part of what's making me win right now is this cap. This forces a cache on. This forces 2 more caches for 6C. So That sextant cost me like 5 chaos for 4 uses. So 1.2 C per. So for a total of 7.25 C, I get 3 heist caches in my maps guaranteed, with with a really high chance, actually 60% chance for a fourth cache. Um, and so when you're when you're running the chance of getting 4 caches a map, but even just at 3 caches a map on 7.2 C, that's 2.4 C per cache. And I only need, at that point, the con the markers are almost a C in value almost every time for popping it open, and so then you only need a contract worth 1.4 C or more to break even on your each cache per map. And contracts, even the worst ones like trap, like even the worst ones that are selling are 1.5. But if you manage to luck into deception or demo or lock picking, you can get more for it. Especially because we're running in 82 plus maps. So that's a large part of it. Plus, anytime you luck into a blueprint, that's just bonus cash, just straight on top. It's very nice. And I'll be running with SS pretty much all league because it means I no longer have to spec into spawn chance, which is a pretty big deal. That's just points saved. These points here are really good though. This is 32% plus 24%, so 56% heist spawn rate. And I think that's really good for this type of strategy. When you do this like on a league start before sextants are high in availability, especially if it's on the device, but even if it's not on the device, or my bad, yeah, especially if it's not on the device, this is like 60% spawn chance, and you could use stream of consciousness to push that to basically almost guaranteed spawn of a highest cache in every map, and just print money that way. Because heisters pay good money, always have, always will. Especially because markers are like 68,000 to one divine as well. I have no idea how many markers I currently have. It's about like 22K, so this is like a third of a divine right here, a little under. This has not been like too serious mapping with it. If I wanted to get really serious about this, by the way, or like I should say, actually, the better way to put that, to get like more efficient. I'm actually pulling up a page here just to talk about something. I think it's on Grand Theft Exile. I didn't need to pull this up beforehand, but I believe the trinket mod does it. There's a trinket mod where or yeah, okay, so Ice has the trinket slots, and on those you can get mods that affect all sorts of things regarding like rewards you get in heist. But there's a couple modifiers that like affect you when you're not in heist. So here we go. Smuggler's Cache has chance to duplicate contained road workers at 10%, very strong. There's also monsters have 10% to drop. So if you're gonna go this route and you're gonna really like I'll probably look into getting this taken care of tomorrow. Pop a blueprint open because some of the blueprints are like 8 to 12 C, or I think the trinket ones are like 8 to 12 C. I could pop open a trinket one at no cost to myself really, and get a slot so I can buy one of these. Um, which that'll just pay itself off in mass per hour, right? If we just talk about from a standpoint of cache is only 10% chance for a cache to duplicate itself. Every 10 caches, that's 11C instead of 10C. You just raw markers. And that pays itself off pretty quickly. As you just run more maps, that's like 3 maps of caches pretty much, which that's perfectly fine for reps. The general just a strategy, and of course, the harvest part is working beautifully. Go in, pop everything, get a bunch of life force, walk out. No doubt that's a large part of what's doing me right now. Like if you look at my total value, my raw chaos and divines are doing it because I've started selling things, including like selling off some life force, actually acquire a divine that I'm gonna end up spending soon on character upgrades. But like I have it. You see, blue life force, yellow life force, or red life force, yellow life force. All of those are large parts of my net worth, and then sextants are also a large part of my net worth. Sextants just drop naturally, and also since I'm running red altars, every slot that I get something that gives me sextants. Sextants are just currently 5.8 to 6C. which is incredible. And then everything else from there is just general run of the mill things. I also got a really nice. I did get a lucky airdrop today finally. I had the reliquary key on day one, but I like obviously I didn't sell that because I thought it was anti ethical. But I did get a Dialis today. Um, that was a big hit. I need to go through and repress some of the stuff I have in here. Like I have a Spinning Shield and whatnot. Of my Oh right, and then of course there's just the general map value of getting one of these every 28 maps. Which makes the value of these actually kind of low. They're like a couple C per map, but like that's free money, right? Zero point 0.7 div every 28 maps. It's pretty nice. Um, some stuff to do for augmentation coming up here. Fixing my defenses and to some extent my offenses as well. Like I didn't go over my character yet. I just realized um after the video yesterday and also just I think before stream even I went through and did a bunch of major upgrades. No longer running Asylum because Asylum was getting me killed. Having to charge to like 6, 7, 8 stacks all the time to get respectable damage on single target on rares was a big problem. So instead, I'm now running my puncture here in just a full 6 link, and this has been much better for survivability. The damage ceiling is slightly lower, like somewhere in the margin of like 10%, but 10% ceiling reduction in exchange for being able to actually hit things with the bow is perfectly fine to me. Um, Split arrow setup is as usual. And then some other upgrades that are going to come along the way. I'm going to anoint this amulet, or maybe buy another one. I might buy another amulet to try to get one with dot multi as well as the life and fizz. I could also consider. I might also consider so I can get like real attributes out of it. Stop breaking my stuff because it's really funny. Whenever I take off my bow, my quiver breaks, and then I no longer have the dex to do anything. Which speaking of, I'm also going to get a real quiver. I like got this quiver day 2 in like I think just like buying a bunch of like really cheap gear. This has done really well for me, just with a bunch of flat. It's actually not too big of a priority to replace, so but I want to get a replacement for it just so I can start looking at other pieces. These boots need to be upgraded badly, but I'm kind of waiting to figure out what I want to do. And same for the gloves. This is mostly just now going to be upgrading into suppression and or chaos res, and I think I'm going to lean a little bit heavier on chaos res and suppression. As much as I love suppression, I remembered what my original build plan was. I kind of let people like I kind of got swayed out of my original build plan a little bit when I put this character together at first. But what I'm gonna start doing now is leaning into max res. You can see here I have max res. I'm gonna get armor based boot, like armor evasion boots, and then I'm gonna switch this over. I'm gonna get this mastery for another max res. We're gonna push up. We're gonna be at 79, 79, 78 max reses. And I might even take the small passive here to make it all 79. And I think that's just going to make me feel a lot better overall. Another major upgrade coming up is Forbidden Flesh and Flame Jewels because I'm planning on staying a Glad. I think switching over to Champ is a viable option longer term in the future, but in the short term, playing a Glad and stealing from Champ looks like the right way to go, especially with with like where that's priced at. And so I want to go ahead and get I'm going to go ahead and grab Fortitude, which is not what I originally planned on. I originally planned on grabbing Inspirational, and I might still grab Inspirational. I need to look at the numbers again. But grabbing Fortitude is a massive buff to my survivability, just straight up 20% less damage taken from hits, um, which will make me feel a lot better about my ability to survive certain really major spikes in damage that just are very natural to the game, to the state of the game, honestly. And then, as a result of all that, will generally be feeling better. And I might get rid of the marker submission, but I don't want to have like paying for a good fold on hit ring is kind of I don't love the idea, and it costs a lot. It costs a lot to like a lot of damage to basically go from level 20 vuln to level 1 vuln. Looking at level 20 here, it's 30% increase taken. I actually don't care too much about the bleed chance. It's irrelevant to what I'm doing. But if I look here, like going down to 15% increase taken is a massive difference in my clear speed, particularly, but I think it's fine. Um, so that's like those are like some of the major updates for the character, and that's I think the character upgrades. I know like it's like this is supposed to be a money making thing, but it's important to remember that when you're going for money making strategies, you need to make sure that you're also making a character that can make money. Um, having this incredible strat doesn't matter if the character's not able to do it right. Like this character is kind of currently do like is a fine mapper, but realistically should come down a couple tiers. Like instead of farming 16s, I should farm 14s. Um, that way I could still run with influence, but I need to be able to like actually complete my maps comfortably and fat and quickly to go ahead and print currency because at the end of the day that's the number one thing. So we talk about like early league essence farming shots are really strong. Because essences by their nodes, I can't show them, I just an honoring path, but essences by their nodes like don't care if you're in T1 or T16, and so when your character that way you can come down to do those and just speed run the essences and make money that way with a character that's a little bit more specialized in that direct that that's more in that direction. Um Strats like that. So right now my biggest focus is I need to make sure this character is effective at doing the maps because the strategy works. Um, like once I'm no longer like just chain dying in maps or just having moments where I feel like the character is ineffective, I might also actually change my map of choice. I was choosing Crimson Temple as my map, but I got a great deal on some Crimson Temples, so I'll probably run through a good chunk of these before I actually make a switch off or anything like that. But in running all these Crimson Temples, I realized that I'm actually running into a really specific issue with the Crimson Temple, and that my how do I word it? Basically, the map is actually a little bit too tight, and I think for Split Arrow, it'd be better if I moved to Cemetery. But I'm gonna run another couple. I want to run more sets of Crimson Temple first, to just run through the maps I did get my money back out of them, and like do some more testing there first. But it's possible within the next day or two I move to Cemetery. The card pool is slightly weaker in Cemetery, but I think the layout is just significantly more beneficial for my character. And that's another thing that matters, right? When you're picking a strategy, you need it's what strategy can your build do? Can your build actually do it? And then what map can you actually play on, right? Like this character would suck if my strategy needed to be run on like Toxic Sewers. Not that like this build is bad for Toxic Sewers, but there are just better types of builds for Toxic Sewers, right? So that's like another type of consideration to keep in mind. I think that whenever I finish unlocking this Rain of Arrows mod, Crimson Temple opens back up as a possibility. It's just because I'm currently reliant on the like pierce spread of Split Arrow to get my clear instead of, or I think I'm using Pierce, yeah, Pierce spread of Split Arrow instead of like an AoE splash from skill like random arrows, or like TS has a large has a large like big area of coverage, or like a BV character has great area coverage, and so like when you think about shit like that, it makes maps like Crimson Temple look a lot better, whereas maps like Cemetery get a lot of value from just being able to shoot all over the screen all the time. And I think the general lack of tightness in the corridors also make it easy for me to do like Crucible and whatnot on that map. Because then I can play everything similar to how I play Harvest, which is, sometimes I'm just up in there because it's easy, and sometimes on the rippier maps that I have, I can actually kite around a little bit more. But these are decisions that walking through the thought process, just making sure that you know my strategy matches up with what my build is strong at, so that way I'm losing less time and therefore money to needing to do things like fixing my build or reinvesting in my strategy, right? So that's like the general gist of it, right? Coming out of day three, not as rich as I would like to be, but I'm a lot wiser than I was before coming into day three, right? I got a lot of insight on how my character performs, and I have some meaningful, actionable insight points on how to improve the character. And as, as a result of that, the money strategy should look a lot better come around, day four, day five. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna miss my like. I wanted to do 7 days of this and get my stuff down, but I think it's gonna take a little bit longer. That's fine. That's on me for picking a build that I just didn't know as well. I should have picked something that I just like. I like the reality is if I was thinking and I wasn't just trying to make sure I played something new or more specific played things that I was more interested in this league, I think I would have actually just done this on Impending Doom. Impending Doom Pathfinder is a beautiful build and it's really strong. And it has a lot less of these issues. And so like, that stuff, but that stuff just like build knowledge, right? Um, anyways, this has been a long one. I didn't really want it to be that long, but I had a lot of thoughts to get off my chest out to say because I had like a moment where I was just really frustrated and I need to take a step away and come back to formulate all of my thoughts and put them in here because I think these are some valuable insights, even if it is a little bit more rambly than I would have liked it to be. So, thank you for watching. If you've watched this far and you like the video, drop a like. It helps me out a lot. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, I realized I didn't say it earlier, but like I'm not live when this video goes live. We're back to my normal schedule. My normal schedule, by the way, I'm live every night except for Wednesday nights at around 9:15 Central Standard Time. The exception to this is if I'm sick, but you would know if you're in the Discord. Yeah, links links to everything down in the description below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Peace.